Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. I just want to share this glorious summer type weather for as long as it'll last, since we're on the verge of autumn right now. And I am continuing the discussion about wisdom, again, in the series that I'm doing. And for today, the types of wisdom that I want to focus on are the ones that you carry within you. So are those of you who are saying, well, Skyfire, what about divine or sacred wisdom? That'll be the next video that comes up. But we have a lot of wisdom within us that we tend to ignore. We always look at wisdom as being something outside. And the first one that I'd like to talk about is your body's wisdom. And our wonderful bodies are the vehicles that our souls use, that we can interact with each other, that we can enjoy a beautiful day, that we can have the pleasure of being with those whom we love, or being able to create, and so on and so on. But all too often, these poor bodies are burdened with artificial expectations that are imposed by culture. They could be imposed by different things about society. And to make it even worse, this poor body has to put up with usually being last, because the spirit and your mind and your emotions are usually competing to be in the front, and the body's just waiting for its turn. But the big thing about the body is it is always present. You know, unlike your emotions, your mind, your spirit, they can go future, past. The body is here, always within the now. So don't discount taking care of this body. You know, it's your body that will have a sense if something is on or off. It will let you know, even weather-wise, what to expect if something really feels right. Because how many of you will say, oh, I had an intuition, and you get the goosebumps or what have you? Or your body letting you know you've been working too hard and you need to nourish and take care of yourself, or you're too stressed out. Or conversely, if you're having a great time. So paying attention to your body's wisdom will help you to be healthier, will help you to be more present. And 9 times out of 10, if you treat it with kindness versus slave driving it to the next thing to endure, will help you to truly feel completely alive and connected with yourself, with your environment, and for those around you. The second that I would like to mention to you is that inner wisdom, that inner knowing, what people would call intuition. And yes, this connects with spirit, but it is connected to, I firmly believe, to the higher sense of self. That intuition is that gut feeling if something is right, if something is wrong. And I don't know about you, but I've had plenty of times where I've absolutely kicked myself because I did not listen to myself. And that intuition has a way of knowing, you know, sometimes it's who is going to call you on the phone before you do, or before you make a decision, a sense of where things are going before they actually take place. So they can touch a little bit with logic and so forth, but it's that gut knowing, that inner wisdom, that the way to reach that is through just being, as I mentioned with body, being in your own skin, pun intended, taking the time to be away from extraneous distractions, electronic and otherwise. And number one, touching base with your body. How do you feel? But also with that sense of knowing, that sense of intuition, focus on different things that are important to you, and then allowing that intuition to give you a sense of feeling, even if it's not specific messages, that initial impression about people and things. It doesn't mean that's entirely what you base your judgment on, but it's not a bad place to start, just getting this gut feelings that you have. The third one that I'd like to talk about is, as I mentioned to you before, comes from the mind. You know, being able to analyze your experiences, being able to learn from reading or from listening to somebody else. And this type of wisdom is one that can be passed on from generation to generation. It can be one that you are honoring your life experiences, and then you distill what is useful from those experiences, bad and good, so that you improve the quality of your life. and for those whose lives you touch. And all too often what I find is within individuals, this tendency to, well, number one, as I mentioned before, ignore the body. And then they wonder why they feel sick and tired or stressed out or what have you, even though the body's been trying to flag them like the pit crew. Hey, pay attention. Then the inner wisdom, which again tends for a lot of people to be dismissed as, oh, well, maybe it's just my imagination. And then they find out later. And then the mind can get confused because is it truly your wisdom or somebody's thoughts superseding your own? So what I'd like to talk about with the three of them so that you can grow within your own wisdom and honor yourself is how to incorporate the three. It shouldn't be a case where one is superior to the other. I would consider it very much along the lines of a team, where depending on what is going on, each type of personal inner wisdom is what takes the lead. So say if you're in a strange situation, your mind doesn't have a lot to go on. Your body's like, not really sure, but your gut, your intuition is telling you, take a second look at this, or to go here. Then at that point, when you have those situations where the body knows that something is up, not too sure what it is, the mind has nothing much to go on. But the intuition, that inner knowing, starts kicking in. Then allow for that to take the lead. But again, this is a team. It doesn't mean that one takes lead and the others are ignored. So again, you could have the body and the mind backing up the intuition, trying to understand more of what is going on. Then there will come a time where the body feels something first. You can call it raw instinct kicks in. And the body just has a sense that there's something that needs to be paid attention to, even before the intuition or the mind can detect it, or that there's a need that the body is coming into. And it could be medical or not. So at that point, sitting down could even be literal or figurative, and listening, what is the body trying to tell you? And then allowing for the mind with its intelligence and intellect and the intuition to work together to help to support the body. So in those particular situations, and this usually comes when you're demanding a lot of your body, or in new situations where you don't know how much of the physical you need. The other instance is, of course, when the mind takes the lead, and this society loves having the mind be in charge all the time. And I find, in my opinion, where opinion can be confused with fact, or being accused of fact, Freudian stuff showing. And that's okay. There is opinion and then there's fact, but it's still the using of your intelligence and your intellect. But keep it straight. What is an opinion versus objective fact? And even so, if you're going to allow for the mind and the intellect to take the lead, it's important to see more than one source. If there's something that needs to be a quick snap decision, that's not what I'm talking about here. But if you're allowing for the mind to take the lead, how much is opinion, how much is objective fact, and its relevance to what you're trying to achieve. From there, allow for your intuition, that inner wisdom, saying, is this decision or thing I'm looking at in alignment and for my greater good and the greater good of all, and see where that alignment is. And again, equal to the team. Just because I'm mentioning last doesn't mean that this is last. The body. How much energy do you have? What will be required? Because it's not for the mind to force the body. Kindness to self whenever you can. Because the body's a record keeper. The thing that you put your body through today becomes, I'm going to say, could be the injuries, or could be the hardships that your body collects tomorrow. So the kinder that you are to your body, nurturing along the way, let it always weigh in. When I'm going to commit myself to this project, to this relationship, to whatever it is, how much energy will it require? how much do you need in order to support the body so that it can support you in what you're trying to do. So that's really what I wanted to share with you, because wisdom is such a huge topic, and I go more into this. And for those of you who are trying to tap into any of these forms of wisdom, please feel free. I welcome you. I would love to talk with you. If you would like to have a session or a mentoring session with me, feel free. And for those of you, again, I thank you so much always for joining me. If you haven't subscribed or tap that bell icon for notification, I would ask you to. It really does help me, and in turn to spread the positivity to others. So I would love to hear in your comments, what type of inner wisdom do you rely on most, and how do you choose to cultivate it? For my part, I really encourage you to look at that wisdom. You carry so much of it, and I'm breaking it down into 3. Think of this as an equal team. Always the body, the inner wisdom that comes from that intuition. From the body comes that instinct, the raw instinct, and then from the mind, the intellect. This is the sacred trio that you have within you, and we haven't even tapped the others yet. The great thing about wisdom is that you can always accumulate it and you can refine it. So I thank all of you for sharing this time with me, for being my teacher, for helping to spread, the positivity, and helping for me to grow my wisdom as well. So until the next time we have the pleasure of being together, again, Wanishi, and the brightest of blessings to you and yours. Until next time.